Holy logo, we are live. Welcome to the Chain Dogs podcast, where we talk about everything theme parks, roller coasters, amusement parks from all over the world. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone in the chat. If you are listening to this in podcast form, just to let you know, we do this every Wednesday, every other Wednesday.
Some Wednesdays.
Some Wednesday.
Every third Wednesday in the
month. At 8 p.m. on the YouTube channel. So if you want to, we know a lot of you listen to this on podcast form. So if you want to get involved in the chat, that's where it is at. Come on, get involved in the chat. Let's go. How are we all doing?
I'm good.
Good.
We have McCall back.
Oh yeah, McCall's here. Hey,
look who's back, lads.
Yes, and that's it. Unfortunately, James and Luke couldn't make it. Basically, without going into detail, Luke's feeling ill. James had car troubles. So they'll be back next week. Well, James won't be, but Luke will. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. How you been, McCall? You good?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. My life's been a bit of a whirlwind for the last few.
No, you meant to say, I'm so good. I'm so good.
I'm getting to it, all right? let me rock. No, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's
good.
It's just like it's lined up that I just had a bit of time today to, hop back on the podcast. So I was like,
no, let's be honest.
As soon as you mentioned the topic, I was like,
I'm down.
Yeah, fuck it, all right.
Obviously, McCall's been away for a while, but we've still got the group chat on the go. And as soon as he saw like top 10s, he's like, "Yeah, I'm in. I've got time. I'll make time. I'm there."
All it took was a spicy subject, and he was
a spicy subject. But no, it's cool. It's cool. So yeah, you've
said you wanted more arguments. I'm here for the arguments.
Yes, we need the arguments, man. Been missing the spice. So yeah, you recently did like a pretty cool trip to Orlando, haven't you?
Yeah, so for anyone who's not aware, I'm taking part in the Next Gen Showcase online design program. It's a 10-month program, and our teams they basically set it up for us to go and showcase our project work at the IAPA Expo in Orlando. So I got to be a part of that at the beginning of in the middle of November, and I figured I might as well turn it into like a trip. So I went to go and visit my friend Sam, who lives down there. He lives like 15 minutes from Universal. Yeah. So just spent like a week just hanging out with him, going to all the parks and everything. A few other friends were down there as well. And then in the second week, we were at IAPA like all week, which was intensive to say the least. But no, it was an awesome trip, awesome opportunity.
You got on Tron while you was there? Thoughts?
Yeah. So I managed to finally get on Tron, and Guardians. We did the same like thing where we like park hopped throughout 3 parks in one day, and so
just did what you want, basically.
Basically. Yeah. But I mean, like, they still have the bullshit ruling that you can't park up until like 2 p.m. So we started at Epcot so we could get the boarding group for Guardians for Cosmic Rewind, and then went to Animal Kingdom for a few hours, and then finished at Magic Kingdom because it was closing at midnight on that evening. So I wanted night rides on Tron. I wanted to see Tron at night so I could take a bunch of photos of it, and obviously wanted to try and get on Guardians as well. I wanted to get back to Animal Kingdom for Flight of Passage, but I don't. This is probably an unpopular opinion between Guardians and Tron. I enjoy Tron more.
Oh, get in the bin.
I've
never ridden them. Visually, and purely because I hate booster bikes, it's just going to be shit, isn't it?
I can't comment because I haven't done Tron, but I just I can't. Yeah, go on. I won't interject.
No. I know we don't want to spend too long on this one, but like Guardians, I thought Guardians was really fun. I really liked it a lot, but it was just there's just something about it. Like everything from a coaster standpoint, I expected it to be what it was. Like I wasn't expecting it to be like more intense or more aggressive than it was or anything. It was pretty much met my expectations completely. But just in terms of like the queue line is awesome. The pre-show so good. The station looks so cool, and everything leading up to the first launch, like without going too far into the spoilers, or from a visual aspect, everything going up into the first launch is just I was there. I was there. I was ready to be blown away by the rest of the ride. It set me up perfectly, and then the rest of the ride just I liked it, but it didn't do as much for me as I thought it would.
Yeah.
And then Tron, on the other hand, I think it's funny because like at Shanghai Disney, like seeing Tron at Shanghai Disneyland, like in videos and stuff, I always thought that like I need to go see that like in person, like, you know, the canopy all lit up and everything. It just like it looked great on camera and everything. And then Walt Disney World took fucking 84 years to put theirs together, and all the hype for it, all the excitement I had for it died down, and I was like,
not far off 10 years. Let's think. 10-year-old ride. 10-year-old ride. Finally come to Florida.
And then I don't know. I just
do you ride it at night? Do you say?
Yeah,
you ride it at night.
Did you do it in day as
I
well?
rode it at night. I didn't ride it in the daytime. No, I only rode it at night.
So it probably would have been
a lightning lane,
doubly as wank if you'd have done it during the day. I feel like it's one of them rides that, like,
maybe
visually at night, I could agree. It probably does look great with all the lights at night, like the outdoor section.
Well, that's precisely why I wanted to ride it at night.
I'd like to hear your opinion if you decided that like you preferred it if you did it during the day. If it took away from the ride experience that much, or not, that outdoor section just being light, if you know what I mean. Maybe
it would have, because I mean, like I'm a visuals kind of person, like, and I'm a guy for, you know, like fancy light synchronization and just like lights on a coaster in general. And I enjoyed that part of it a lot, even though it only lasts like 10 seconds. Like, but yeah, maybe. But I got a lightning lane for it. Pretty much as soon as we got to Magic Kingdom, like we went straight over to Tron for the lightning lane ride, and then at the end of the day, I was just taking photos of it like close to midnight and everything, and I just figured I'd go up because what I noticed is that the trains were like half empty, so I went over to the entrance cast members and was just like, yo, it looks dead around here. Is there any chance I could just hop on? And they were like, yeah, like like normally we're only letting like lightning lane and virtual and boarding groups on, but the park's dead, so like we're just letting anyone. I was like, say less, I'm gonna go get another ride. And I ended up getting a front row Zen ride on it at like so almost cool. Midnight. So that was super cool. So that added something to it as well. And just like yo, the soundtrack on that thing and the sense of speed it has on the launch, at the very least, in the first section, I just really enjoyed it. Like I loved that about it. And obviously the light packages and everything, like it just I just had more fun on it. I do kind of feel like I need to ride Guardians like a couple more times.
But, do you know what I feel? I also think like one of the strongest points of Guardian is that you have a different song. You have like a different song almost every time. But I do think that first song makes a difference, because when I did it, we had like, when me and Joe did it first, we had Flock of Seagulls, I Ran, which is like, I just think it's a fucking sick song. And like we had that and I was like, I loved it. It was so good. But then like I heard some people have like just like not the best song choice. And I was like, oh, maybe it wouldn't, like, if it was like a slower song, it wouldn't probably be as good. I do think that has a massive effect on it, but I don't know. It's one of them. Like, I know Luke felt the same. He was like underwhelmed by Cosmic, but I was just like, I loved it. I just loved the whole like the soundtrack going around. I thought some bits were like, I did like because I remember Luke saying that it just had like no force to it, and I was like, I don't know what. I thought there's some bits that had bigger forces than
to me, it had nothing to do. The reason why it kind of left a little bit to be desired had nothing to do with the coaster itself. Everything that the coaster does, I expected it to do, but I think I think like with having known pretty much nothing about what the experience was going to be like in terms of the theme, like inclusion and everything, and then having seen like certain parts, certain bits in like theme park stop updates and from other people saying like it's going to include this kind of tech, it's going to have like these kind of dome screens, it's going to do it's like there's going to be different like set pieces in it and stuff. I guess I was kind of thinking that it's much more of a wild card in terms of how it would be executed as opposed to Tron, where I pretty much knew everything about it. But so like in my mind it was like there's much more range for it to blow my mind. And I guess I was hoping that like whatever was included would be
it's more of a visual, wanted a bit more of a visual spectacle in a way.
Yeah. And then like just like in the main bulk of the ride, like I'd again, like I don't want to give too much away if people are going to be riding it, like within in the near future, but just the execution of what it does, just like it. I liked what was there. I didn't love it.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Another coaster, but we're going to come on to this a little bit later, is you managed to finally, after being spited, get an Iron Gwazi. But like we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this because obviously it's going to be interesting. Right, we're
gonna have some conversation about that one.
So let's move on to our first topic, which is we're going to have to talk about it, aren't we? Really, Thorpe Park's logo. So if you've been on the socials and stuff around kind of like theme park Twitter, I guess you would have seen this everywhere. There's even American podcasters talking about it. Drunk Riders were talking about it.
Were they?
Yeah.
What did they say? What was their opinion?
It's just kind of the same as everyone else, really. I mean, I think
they didn't really give their opinion on it. They were kind of just commenting on how everyone over in the UK would.
Yeah, I mean, they did say it was a bit meh,
going crazy about it in either direction.
It just looks, I think they weren't really like that. I think. Well, let's talk about it, right? So, because I've got thoughts on it.
Yeah, take us on the journey that you've been on, the range of emotions you've experienced.
First of all, everyone in the comments, let us know what your thoughts on the Thorpe Park logo is, and keep them nice, please. Don't be like trying to get people to lose their jobs and stuff. Like, it's just silly. It's just a logo, guys. Right? So it's been so long that I can't even remember how to share my screen. So
was the O is drunk.
Drunk.
Here we have obviously on the left old Thorpe Park
and
logo,
the E is obnoxious.
But like I think I watched Jack's video yesterday, and he said that how the O is like paying tribute to the infinite, like the blue loop behind the infinity. That's where it's kind of doing that. But yeah, so what's that?
That's what it's meant to be doing.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. So first of all, like my first thoughts was like it's so different to what I expected it to be. Like it's just drastically different. I think like
what were you expecting?
I don't know, to be honest. I was just it's hard to, how would you know what to expect in a way, but it's just
do you know what I expected a little bit of some form of imagery with it, like
just an icon or something.
I'm trying to, obviously, because the infinity thing's been like part of it for so long, that I'm not saying that I wanted them to incorporate that still in some form of way, but I just would have felt they'd have had something, whether it had been in the background or something like that, because even if if you compare it to Drayton's new logo, which obviously is something that everyone's done, because let's face it, everyone was a prick when that logo came out.
Yeah, it's the same thing, weren't it? It was like
similar thing, but they at least they have some like shapes and stuff in the back. They had a bit of something around the writing. Do you know what I mean? So I was expecting something, but I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's simple, and when they put it together with like the colorways that they have for it and like the concepts they showed for it, I was like, you know what? It looks quite smart. I just think it's not very inspiring. Like it's something that you could have knocked together in 5 minutes on.
I think I had a different. I had that kind of because I remember this from the Drayton logo. So obviously, like because I was working with Drayton, was doing all the videos, the new videos to go out. I'd been sitting on that logo. I was used to that logo for a little while, and then seeing it in assets, because that's the thing. Like it's not just a new logo; it's like a rebrand, and I think that's something that obviously they was trying to explain the video is that it's a rebrand. It's like the logo is just one little thing, and because the Thorpe Park logo, you know, the old one is such like it's really like it's iconic in a way. Like whether it's good or bad, it's like it's
got a bit of substance though. Like
yeah,
I know it's only just the infinity in the background. It's got a bit of something to it. Whereas this is
it looks fun.
So
it looks
plain.
fun. Yeah, it looks fun. The first thing I thought was, like, I do get the criticism, like it does look a little bit like a retail shopping park. It could be that, do you know what I mean? Like a shopping park. What did I say? Something.
Somebody posted that it looks like the Loose Women logo, and they are 100%.
I saw that.
When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah.
But it's just hasn't got any oomph. But I remember McCall saying, like, pointing out the fact that, like, look at the Cedar, the Fair parks. They're all like very basic, just bold writing, really. And it's like, how is it then different to that? And is there anyone moaning about how boring that is? They're not really, because when you put
the thing with that is like what I personally think the Cedar Fair logos do well is shift people's attention to the rides. Like there's no sort of like specific or like palpable thematic identity that the logos give to the parks themselves, and it allows in the context of an amusement park, not a theme park. It allows people who are aware of the Cedar Fair parks through the logos to just think about the rides, which is what amusement parks, well, the Cedar Fair amusement parks are about. Thorpe Park has always given me that kind of vibe anyway. It's never to me anyway, like it's never known or been able to establish a kind of thematic identity. It kind of has different things going on. It's never really had much consistency there and the focus has always been on the thrilling coasters. So like it's always given me that Cedar Fair kind of, I guess in terms of brand identity, it's always given me that same kind of feel. And this logo kind of cements that thought for me, because as you said, like when it's put on a poster and it's used the like 2D shapes and imagery and colors and like flat colors that it's used on posters, on merch, on hoodies, on mugs and stuff. It's pretty much that entire it frames the park offering in terms of rides as the focus, in my opinion. So when you think of other theme parks that have much more character driven imagery, like you think like there's a specific thing you think of in theme parks.
But I would so it just depends, because like, for example, I could not imagine Alton Towers having any other logo than like some kind of circle with the towers in the background. I wouldn't want it. Like, I don't. No one could ever convince me that would be the right move, because they've always, even when they've had like new rides like Wicker Man, they just made it into a flame logo, and it was like very like plain, like flat, and that looks really cool. So they can like change it up, and Towers have just done the kind of smart thing about changing it very slightly every few years, and it's like people don't even almost notice it until you start looking back at the evolution of that logo. That just keeps getting, but like, I think in terms of Thorpe, I've just started from scratch, let's be honest, there was never gonna like work on this logo, like this old logo, and make it modern. It needed a whole fresh brand.
Yeah.
But they're obviously just going for a more simplistic thing. You know, if there's one big takeaway from me, it looks a little bit more. I don't know, like it looks a bit more sophisticated in a way. Like they're trying to get away from this, like.
The old one's a bit cartoony, and it's a bit like
cartoony,
animated, so to speak.
And
I suppose though, does that go hand in hand then? When I'm trying to think, you said about taking it more simple and sleek and stuff like that. Let's talk about, you could compare it to when Pleasure Beach went from Mr. Funshine to a fucking exclamation mark, right? I would have loved to have been on Fousey Twitter when that happened.
Yeah.
Because just imagine that everybody lost their fucking minds. Like to go from like, oh, Mr. Funshine, exclamation mark.
They brought him back, didn't they? Yeah.
Exactly. So I do wonder whether the infinity symbol is that, okay, it's not in the logo anymore, but is that going to be completely gone from Thorpe Park's agenda, or is that? Do you know? Because people,
well, there was some. Yeah, it's kind of like there was some people who I did see some people saying that they thought they might, just basically modernize the really like the vintage Thorpe Park logo, that one that was blue and yellow, which would have been cool to see, but.
Let me just go through some comments just so get what people are saying. So RCT limits saying, oh my god, I've just lost it. What is going on? Sorry. I've just lost exactly where I was. I got evening.
While you're looking for that, I will just say ads pointed out the Liseberg logo as well, which kind of like it uses a bit more of an elegant typeface, but so it's a similar kind of vibe.
It's just text, not a logo. We got saying the logo, it's just plain. So plain. We have in the design world and blogs, the general consensus is that it would have been exciting at one point, but after corporate took their stab at it, it's just very uninspiring. Yeah, I kind of get that, but also this is designers talking who haven't got the work, and they're on LinkedIn writing blogs trying to get. I mean, the reason you're on LinkedIn is to get work. So I don't know. I do get that. Things can sometimes get dumbed down as they go along. There's too many people, but I feel like Thorpe's team is it's not like massive. It's not huge. It's not a big massive corporation. There's not like loads and loads of people there. They seem to have a pretty tight knit and close team there, but I don't know. Rollerbaz saying it's are you at all bitch. Of them?
What a fat bitch.
I'd have done the same, let's be honest.
Don't judge me. They're like the third packet as well. They're for my mum's birthday at the weekend, and I've had 3 boxes of them and bought them again, so now I've got to go buy some more because I can't control myself.
You're a fat fatty. That's what you are.
So the RCT limit said new merch they brought out last year used the logo subtly, and they can't use that now. Drayton says family and friendly. This says absolutely nothing. Haha. Haha. Good effort from Thorpe. So Sam's liking it. I don't know if that's sarcastic.
I sense there we go. Sarcasm there.
I say, it's not awful, but a lot of parks have a simple logo. He agrees with Kyle, so there we go.
Of course he does.
I think we should. Bart saying, I think we should see the logo.
We share the same birthday. Has to.
Background.
Really?
yeah, we do actually.
This is brand new information.
This is an official shout out to Sam Costello.
He's being needed in the chat.
Shout out to Sam Costello from YouTube. If you didn't know. Is it a move? Matt saying is it a move to a more stylized park rather than themed? Basically, yeah. I mean, icon stylized. Hyperia looks very icon stylized esque from what I can see, but we don't know for sure yet.
The thing is, I've never thought of Thorpe Park as it's had themed areas, but like certain amusement parks also have themed areas, and we don't think of them as theme parks. We think of them as
but there's no.
I think
Stealth is like in its own area. Like Swarm Island is it's like one of the best themed areas in the UK. Like you wouldn't see. I couldn't imagine like a flipping Cedar Point like having an entire area dedicated. Like they have a little pocket.
Though, like maybe not so much.
Well,
now,
Carowinds has
opened,
Blue Ridge
like,
Junction where Copperhead Strike is.
Yeah, but they
Carowinds
haven't got like a flipping billboard and like a helicopter and like upside down like trucks and like it's another level in my opinion. I associate. I've said this before. I associate Thorpe more with a studio park more than anything else. Like I don't see it as just an amusement park. I see it as a studio park where it's just like you've got this really themed place, and then it ends, and then it's the next thing, and it's the next thing. Which I guess you could say for Six Flags in a way as well, but I don't know. I think it comes down to Thorpe really not really knowing what they've been for a long time, which is what they're trying to correct.
Yeah.
They do have
Yeah.
identity crisis and have done for a long time.
They just need to come out. Come on.
We're
waiting for
you for whatever you are.
Whatever you want to be. If you want to be an amusement park, or if you really want to be a theme park, just tell us. It's all good. We accept you. Accepting. But I think what's the other one? Sorry. I was going to go off on a tangent then. Came along with the removal of loads of rides, the installation of the entrance urinals, and renamed to Pleasure Beach Blackpool. Very odd time. Sounds very Pleasure Beach, isn't it? Really.
Pleasure Beach. Everyone.
Is there ever not an odd time with Blackpool?
So
I love it so much.
There's a lot of backlash from professionals on LinkedIn. This is more of a font than a logo. But people said that about about Drayton Manor was like it's just a font, and it's like, well, no, it was actually like a completely custom font.
It's got a spiral actually, so
it's got a spiral, but like like it is like custom done. Like it's done in Adobe Illustrator. It's not just a font they've downloaded from the font.
They got it off to font.com.
Yeah, that's not what it is. Like it is still like, even if you don't like it or not, it's not just a font. Like it's been custom designed. That's what it is. But I don't know why I'm trying to defend it. I'm not really defending it. I'm trying to play devil's out. I'm good at playing devil's advocate. I'm good at sitting on the fence. So
it's just like you just have to look at it in the right context. Like
I just genuinely think like I was so honest about the Drayton logo. I didn't like it. I told them I didn't like it. And then now I'm like, I can't imagine. Like when I look at the old logo, I'm like, oh my god, that was like as old.
That new logo makes you realize just how dated that old logo was when you see them together now, and it's like shit. That's old as fuck.
When you see that Drayton, when you see that Drayton Manor logo in the park, it looks good. Like it does look decent. Like when you go into the entrance,
it looks clean and it looks bright and it looks fresh.
And
I imagine this will look the same when you see it in situ.
I do think once it sinks in, like. People will be like, "Do you remember that time when?" Because to be fair, majority of people were just giving their opinion, and we're like, just like they didn't like it, and they're allowed to say they don't like it. But I think it got confused with everyone who would literally telling people they need to like not have a job, and I'm just like, there comes a point where it's like it's a bit much. But I saw that with Drayton as well, and I didn't like it because I knew everyone. I actually knew everyone involved with the Drayton stuff, and. It was just like it wasn't nice seeing people like get like that angry. But the majority of
people just need to remember it's just a fucking logo. It's fine.
It's a rebrand, actually. It's a rebrand.
Oh, shut up, Sean. It's a logo. We are talking about a logo, okay? And it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your day at the park, so fucking relax, okay?
Ads prove it. Prove it now. Right now. Prove it.
Post it.
Prove it. Prove it. No, he actually will prove it now.
Right.
I don't know. They might have done. I mean, it might have done some custom kerning. Might have pushed the paint out a little bit. Could have happened.
Ads, did you make the logo? Was it you?
Yeah, it was good. Anyway, right. Anyway. Moving on to Top Thrill 2.
Top Thrill Tourists.
I keep. You know what? It's because it's Top Thrill 2 tourists. Top thrill tourist.
Top thrill tourists.
Get me out your mind, Sean. Weird.
It's not you. So obviously the 420-foot spike has been completed. They shared the video. I'm really enjoying these pit stop episodes
nice
that they're doing. I want more of these. I want more people doing these. But yeah, as we can see, we'll see the POV on this the top of the spike as it goes up. There we go. It looks like they're in the UK there, doesn't it? For the grey sky.
I like how it's got a little flag on the top. That's exciting.
You got grey skies, like white and grey coaster.
That is Blackpool.
What else do you need? Really?
Yeah.
Blackpool,
That is Blackpool. That could be in Blackpool, couldn't it? We wish.
Just screenshot it right there. Like you could probably convince at least a few people that's icon getting repainted.
That looks insane, doesn't it? Like, look at the size of that now.
You look at that and you go, like, things that should be illegal but they're not. And you look at that and go, that is extravagant.
It looks mean.
When you take into account, like, Power Tower is over 300 feet tall.
Yeah,
and you're gonna get
thing. And
depending on where the train's gonna come up to on that spike, you're gonna be looking down and then just see the top of Power Tower off to the right of you. That's insanity.
And me being such a shitbag, I would be frightened to death if I was on that.
So,
and having gotten to actually sit in the train at IAPA, those seats are comfortable as hell.
Are they?
Like, they really did a good job with. Obviously, we'll see how they track on the actual ride and stuff, and like how rattly or not rattly they could be. But yeah, just the seat itself and how the train is engineered. Like,
it's kind of exciting because we don't have anything to compare this to. We have literally nothing to compare this to. Like, we don't know how well or how good that these trains are gonna age.
Yeah,
we just don't know. Like, it's kind of exciting. The wheels.
You know what? Watching these videos and seeing these pictures as well. Like, when this was first announced, a lot of Top Thrill fanboys were a bit like, it's gonna be shit. But then looking at that, how can you not be excited by that now? Okay, it's not the ride it was before, but that spike is insane. Like, I mean, it might be a bag of shit, but from looking at it, like,
them goofy fucking wheels just get me. But it's been explained.
Mate, the wheels get so hot. Big.
It's because they get so hot, apparently, that they have to be that big. That's what they said. They have to be that big.
Yeah,
it gets so hot.
Yeah.
But they just look. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine what that was like in person, McCall, because it's just staggering how big that...
they are. I think I've told you this before. When I did the coaster tour at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I got to hold one of Griffin's road wheels, and it's literally like holding a 25 kg plate in the gym.
They look on that level as well.
These weren't far off.
Yeah. That's just mad.
Fucking massive.
So
they're absolutely massive.
Does this mean that, like, it sits? Obviously, it must sit way higher above the track. So does that mean that they've?
Well, like the
whole station, is the whole station come up?
I'm not sure. Like, I think like the floor of the train will sit higher because of like the chassis just being way bigger and everything. Yeah. But like the seats don't sit as high up off the floor of the train as the Intamin ones do, because you can still put your feet on the floor when you're sitting in the seat. Like, so it's not like the seat isn't quite as high up as like Taron's seat or Velocicoaster's seat or something like that. But it's still much higher than the original Top Thrill Dragster trains were. So it's going to be a different experience in that sense, and especially when you go down the spiral drop off the top hat. Like, I'm really interested to see how that's going to feel, because you are sitting higher above the track than in the previous trains, and like the heart lining through it is going to be different. So like it's going to be a different sensation. I'm really excited. I'm really interested to see how that's going to feel. And then also just like, I mean, like people can talk about like how I loved the launch. Like the original Dragster's still in my top 20. Like I loved that launch. It was my favorite hydraulic launch. But the reality is, it doesn't exist anymore. So what are we gonna? So what are we gonna do? Just sit here and moan about it, like not being here anymore, or are we just gonna go enjoy this very different experience? Traveling, I don't think people are putting enough stock in how ludicrous traveling backwards at 100 miles per hour actually is.
It's insane, isn't it? 100 miles per hour backwards, like
mate,
what?
Backwards, mate. That's ridiculous. And then flying up that top hat, flying up that spike, and like the amount of seconds of like seemingly endless weightlessness that you'll feel, you know, at the top of the spike before coming back down. This is going to be a ridiculous experience in its own right. Yeah, it's not going to have as strong a launch, but there's so much else going for it.
Is that Clay?
That is Clay.
Oh, I heard him.
I need to get him in. I need to get him in the room.
I heard him. Tell him I said hi.
Oh, I closed the door by accident. So yeah, so that is top 42. I'm very much. I just heard it like replay downstairs. Joe's watching it downstairs, and I just heard Clay. Anyway, so that's top 42. Me and Joe are currently in planning to go to Cedar Point next year. So I'm hoping.
Nice.
I'm hoping that it just doesn't have loads of problems, but I can't see it not having loads of problems because it's just such a.
It's gonna have issues.
Yeah, it's gonna have issues. So I think we'll wait a little bit after, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Techno Andrew, I did ride Superman Escape from Krypton when it went backwards, and honestly, I think this is going to be a better experience because the trains are much more open.
Yeah,
like if you sit on like the Superman trains, like you really sit low in the seat, and then like if you're sitting on the side of one of the rows, you basically have this massive shield over your shoulder, depending on what side you're on. So like it's not super restrictive. Like it's not like a premier train. It's not like super hard to get into or out of or anything. But it's just much more restrictive in how you feel in the experience than this will be, I think. So I think that's gonna give an advantage to.
Matt saying, thinking how incredible the spike on Titatis felt makes me very excited about this. Yeah, agreed. Definitely. So anyway, let's get on to roasting our top tens. That's what everyone's here for. Let's be honest.
Sorry.
Who wants to go first?
Are you putting them on the screen, or are people reading them out?
We'll read them out and then I'll put them on the screen. I'll tell you what. I'll go first.
Oh shit! Are we reading them out?
Yeah, I'll go first.
There it is.
Let me just get mine up.
Yeah, you set it off. Well, I find
so. So number 10. We'll go from 10 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it exciting.
Yeah.
So number 10 is El Toro at Six Flags. Oh my god, Great Adventure? No, yeah,
Great Adventure.
Yeah, Great Adventure. Mate, it just went out of my head. Yeah, El Toro at Great Adventure.
Enthusiast you are.
Obviously, that was like a really big bucket list ride for me, just because like I've always seen it, like I've always been interested in it. And then after doing Colossus and then Boulder, like I was just like, I need to get that one ticked off, and then I've got one more to go, which I'm never going to do. Let's be honest, probably, but I'll try and get around to it. But like I've got most of them. But like, so this one was like for me, it was like the jewel in the crown of doing the prefabricated Intamin wooden coasters.
Matt's just said that we should have Top of the Pops music. Can you announce them like you're on Top of the Pops? So like in at number 10 from Intamin, we have a prefab. It's El Toro. Can we do it like that, please?
I don't
ever remember what that sounds like.
Can we have that?
Ooh, it's a bit gritty for Top of the Pops.
Number. But anyway, right, let's be serious. I'm trying to get this done in like 20 minutes. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on then,
So
Sean.
number 10 is El Toro. I always wanted to do it. We did it. The first one I did on it, I'm not gonna lie, it was wild. Like, I didn't expect it to be. I've talked about it before, but I didn't expect it to be as intense as it was. I did think maybe it was like a little bit too intense for a wooden coaster in a way. Like, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. Never done a coaster like that ever. And that was at the back. That was like near the back. When you get to the front, it's a totally different coaster. I think it's better at the front. I think maybe if you've done it enough times, you probably will want to. It's probably like a drug, isn't it? You need that hit, so you go to the back. So whatever. But like, I do think the better riders at the front. But like, what really changed it for me is we did a couple of rides in it in the daytime. But when we did one, like, I think we got on like the one but last train of the day, the near night ride we got on it. It was it was the sun was going down, and that was like, that changed everything. And I did it twice at night as well, and that was just like an unreal experience, and it was just really good. But yeah, that's at number 10. Boulder, which is another obviously Intamin prefab coaster, that's at number 9. I preferred it.
Get the fuck out.
I preferred it.
All right, we're starting now.
Yeah. Tell him, Mikhail. You tell him.
But what,
I don't.
you haven't done Boulder, have you?
I can't speak on it. I'm not rid of Boulder, but
Yeah.
it just does not look like it.
It's, you know what it is? It's like, it's such a different coaster. They're hard to compare to each other, because Boulder is literally, it goes slow around the track, but it has an insane, it like defies the laws of physics. You feel like you're going around these corners dead slow, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the most insane like airtime I've ever had on a wooden coaster. And it's just built for pure airtime, and it's like,
I think it might be one of those where like the hills, like the airtime moments, are profiled perfectly for how fast the train is actually going.
I think it is, because it's just like, it's a halfway between eject. It's like, I've never had that kind of airtime either. It's like halfway between ejector and floaty. It's like the perfect mix of both. It like launches you out, but then you're up for like a little bit, and then you come back. I don't know. It was just Boulder, honestly, and we did it at the European Coaster Club event. So they opened it up, and we was on probably the 5th train of that day, because it wasn't even open. So like, we only got like very early, what you consider like morning rides basically on it. And every time I did it, it just blew me away. So I can't imagine what that would be like at night when it's been running all day. I think it would just, it'd go right up to the top of my list.
I do really want to get on it.
It's just,
it does look a lot of fun.
Like me and Joe, first time we did it, it was me, Joe, and then James and Luke in front of us, and we were just like giggling like kids the whole way around. It was just so fun. it was just genuinely so fun. Number 8 is Sky Rush. Flipping loved it. So good. Even on the Sky Rush. It's an Intamin. It's at Hershey Park. I was like,
I've heard it's like unbearably rough.
No, it's not though. I mean, it's not that it's rough. I think the outside seat is very uncomfortable. If you can get over that uncomfortableness.
Comfortable in what way? Like,
in terms of like, you would bloody hate it. Like, you would hate it. It like, it's because the outside seats are basically wing seats, and you feel like, you know, like how you were getting dragged around an Enzo, and we was like laughing at you, and you were just like that. Imagine that, but it's. Yeah, but imagine that it's like got like an actual, like, it's just like someone's actually just put it onto the back of a truck, and it's like ragging you about. It's insane, but I kind of liked it. But then I liked it even more.
Well, the thing people complain about most with Sky Rush is the restraints. Like, the restraints just they lock further and further down on you.
They just lock
further on your thighs as it goes around.
No, I wouldn't say it's a thigh. Do you think it's a thigh crusher? I wouldn't say it was.
I mean, I personally don't, but people have nicknamed it Thigh Crush. like that's gone around a lot.
Joe says it's a Thigh Crusher.
No, it is because I forgot where they come. Yeah, so basically, it's pretty much renowned that it keeps getting tighter and tighter as you go around. So when you get hit the brake run, they pop it open.
Feel my feet.
Yeah, they pop it open on the brake run, but it's You would not like it. You wouldn't like it.
I don't know. It's weird because obviously I have a lot of problems with my thighs on rides, but to me, it's like, is it worth the pain? Because there's some rides absolutely kill my thighs, but I adore them. Do you know what I mean? I think it comes down to whether it's worth it. And I feel like Skyrush is a bucket list ride for me, and I reckon it would be worth it. Like,
see, because like it's got that problem with the restraints. Well, that problem that a lot of people have with the restraints. But I wouldn't say like the reason. Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but like the reason that you really don't like Conda that much is because of like how much, like how rapid fire the airtime moments can get, right?
Yeah, and it's not worth it because I find the ride boring, so that thigh hurting isn't worth.
Anyway,
and
we can't
Skyrush isn't that.
Yeah, we can't
Skyrush
spend this long on each
like,
coaster. I just realised.
Yeah.
I could have easily talk about.
I was going to say
because it's more
going into soliloquies for everyone.
I know. I'm like, I'm only at number 8, and we've got another. Like, yeah.
In at number 7.
Number 7. It's Shambhala, man. Shambhala, and you know what? It is number 7.
Go on.
What? After the last ride,
I love Shambhala, but it's not top 10 worthy.
Yeah, no, it flipping is, man. It is. It is. I've just done so many fucking hypers. I've done like in America that even doing oh god, Mako. My head's gone crazy. Even like anything I've done. Yeah, SeaWorld. One of them. I can't remember. It's just like Shambhala just hits. And do you know what it is as well? Is that every time I go and do it, it's getting better with age, man. Like it's getting like more intense.
Yeah.
It's getting
very people have kept saying that.
Yeah. So like when we did it, last like a couple of months ago, we did it like so many times, and when we was doing night rides on it, it just hits, man. It's just like I get off it, and it's one of them coasters. But I've probably done the Shambhala is probably one of them coasters that I've done the most.
You've ridden
out of my top 10. And it just hits every time. And every time I go back to it, I just remember how much I love it. And that was after doing my big America trip, and it's still in there, man. It's still hanging in there. So
yeah, I'm like I love Shambhala a lot. Like I think it's like I'd say it's like a top 15 kind of coaster for me, but there's just so many. Well, not so many. There are a lot of notable others that I put above it. I mean, it's 26 for me. I would probably say it. Yeah, I would probably say it's like top 15, top 20 worthy. So it probably deserves to be higher in my list than it actually is.
By the way, chat needs to roast these more, because this ain't roasting. This is just me really my like top 10. If you don't like honestly, you have permission to just be like, that's shit. You can do it. Don't worry. RCT Limit said.
I mean, you've already shot yourself in the foot with Boulder over El Toro. So
I can't lie. I did him in the same year as well. I did him in the same year, and I still think it's better. I prefer Silver Star over Shambhala. I do like Silver Star. I do think it's the best. I do think Silver Star's the best coaster in Europa Park. That gets a lot of hate, and I don't understand it. I just find Shambhala to have the more sustained airtime, which I really like. I like the floatiness, but because it's so like powerful now, as well with intenseness, it's just better. Coaster Bot Harry, shout out. How much better is Shambhala meant to be compared to Mako? I just hear it compared a lot to each other, especially when people do Mako and then go and do Shambhala. I don't know. I just hear a lot of people compare about. And when I finally did Mako, we did it multiple times. We walk on all day, and me and Joe did it loads of times. And me and Joe were just like, "Was that it?" Like, I don't get Mako. I don't get the hype. For me, it's one of them coasters that just didn't hit. Just didn't hit for me.
Cool story, bro. Number 6.
Number 6. Yeah. Okay. So number 6 is Alpengeist, B&M invert. My number 1 B&M invert. Oh my god. I can't tell you how.
I know this is supposed to be a roast, but I can respect that a lot.
It's fucking mate,
I love Alpen guys.
It's the only B&M invert in my top 10, which is surprising to me because I actually really like B&M inverts. But I've done a lot of them. I've done quite a lot of them now after doing the America trip, and just the Alpen guys. Just there's nothing else like it out there. Yeah, that's it. It is like I don't think anyone who's done Alpen guys can argue. Like, can't even roast that. It's flipping beautiful. Number 5, Thunderhead. Thunderhead
Anyway,
at Dolly. Thunderhead at Dollywood is number 5.
Thunderhead's in your top 5.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What's your count at right now?
I'm at 309.
309?
Yeah.
That's again, like, I respect it, but wow, I wasn't expecting that. Thunderhead when was my favorite GTI.
Yeah, when was the last time you did Thunderhead? Because you haven't done it. So obviously that was before it had all its like.
Yeah, by all accounts, it's supposed to be really fucking good now.
So I watched Coaster and Bruise like
I have
the other way, and
it's been running better this year than it has been in past years.
Yeah, so like Thunderhead, we did that, blew me away. It doesn't even look like anything off ride when you're looking at it. You're like, oh, it kind of just looks like standard GCI. Just like a little bit bigger than Wicker Man or whatever. But when you're on it, oh my god, that thing delivers. You're out your seat more than you're in it. It's incredible. It's insane. And then we got like a night ride on it. And me and Chris both said when we did it, when we was out there, we both agreed. I was like, that is the best in terms of night rides. There's one other one that's like close to it that I'm gonna get onto, but I'd say that is probably the best night ride like actual night ride I've ever had on a coaster close to it. But I think it is. So number 4 is Fly. That is just it's a weird one because like technically on paper it shouldn't be, but the whole fucking experience you can't deny.
Experience, you just like you can't
it's
deny
just
it.
It's nothing else like it. It's almost like cheating in a way because it's like you can't compete with that land in a way. It's just you can't experience anything like that anywhere else. But Fly is at number 4, and that's like close to Thunderhead in terms of one of the best night rides I had because I managed to get a front row on it by pure luck. And doing that at night on front row was beautiful. So number 3, Sardra. Love Sardra. Just not much else to say about it. Great coaster. That was the second RMC I'd ever done. Untamed being my first one. And Sardra just gave me what I wanted out of an RMC. Like, don't get me wrong, Untamed is a great coaster by itself, but like Sardra was the first coaster I'd done where I'd got off it and was like, I've done like an RMC. Like I felt like I'd done an RMC, rather than just like a little RMC. Do you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, love Sardra. To be fair, that's probably close to Jean Barlow in terms of how many times I've done that coaster in my top 10 because we did it loads that trip. Number 2 is, this is gonna like trigger people, man, but people are gonna see it come in. It's Taron, number 2. Out of all these coasters I've just done in America, nothing has come close to me. It's really Taron is going to be a hard one to beat. I
am assuming you mean when you say Taron, the night rides on Taron.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think it is. I think the night rides is what pushes it because.
Are you trying to tell me you have a new number 1?
Yeah, of course.
Predictable.
I'm pretty sure you know. I'm pretty sure you know this already. I think I've already told you.
Predictable number 1.
You know,
I wasn't. Okay, carry on.
So obviously, like I did it. Like I did the last time I was there was January this year, and we did it. And Taron was great, loved it. Did it in the daytime, but I was like, I'd done a lot of coasters since then, and I was kind of like, I don't think it's as high as it was anymore. And then we just had like the one night we had 2 like just incredible night rides where like I just couldn't get my breath back when we hit the brake run. And it was just incredible. It was just so good. But again, it's like Fly. It's like the whole area. It's a me vibe. Klugheim is a me. It's the stuff I'm interested in. It's like the architecture of the land, the way it looks, any way you look at it, the sound of that second lift, the sound of that second launch. It's like evil.
Get RCT limits out of the chat. Get the fuck out. Cheetah hunt with theming and lap bars. Get the. What?
No, he's got a roast. He's doing what no one else is doing. Get him in there. I mean, if this wasn't a roast, that would have triggered me, to be honest. But no, to be fair, like I'm like again like Fly on paper, it's not that amazing coaster, but the whole experience for me like puts it all there. And I was waiting for Harry to say something, to be honest, because
honestly,
Harry's got opinions about Taron.
He's just seething. Yeah. Like he can't physically type right now.
It's because he's just like throwing his mouse at the wall. That's why. Taron is bad.
There he is.
Oh god. Yeah, there we go. Helix is better than Taron. It's flip. It is like nowhere near.
I've not even ridden Helix, and I don't believe that.
Helix is not better. Helix is better than Taron. Oh my god, no, mate. Oh god. Yeah, that's
Helix is better than Ride to Habit. Oh, go home.
No, it's not. So number 1 is Aingwazi. So before we get into this, I was shocked by my top 10 because Velocicoaster isn't even in my top 10. It's number 13
what
for
are you
me.
doing? Just end the chat.
It's not in his top 10 because he's not a sheep.
It's not even that. Like I even had a thought of like, should Velocicoaster? I'm like, no, it shouldn't. Like, why am I saying that? Just because I feel like, because
everybody else has it.
Like, but I felt bad for not having it in there, so that's my top 10.
I thought I'd press something there.
No, that's just my. But like, yeah, I was looking at my top 10, and yeah, I was looking at it, and well, this is like my top nearly 50 here. So like, yeah, Velocicoaster is like down to 13. Ride to Happiness, I just felt bad against it, but I haven't had as many rides. Remember, it broke down the day we went, didn't it? So I don't think.
I only had one ride and it blew my fucking mind. So you're just.
It blew my mind as well, but so did Intimidator 305, and that's not even in my top 10. It's just missed out. There's just loads like King Dakar was amazing. Like that's the thing. I've got to a point now where like we've done like the not top 20 coasters and probably beyond are like world class coast. Like how do you start? It's so hard. Like start trying to like do this now. That's why I kind of stopped caring as much, because at any given day, any of my top 10 could like just shift. Do you know what I mean? Like number 10 could probably the right ride. Number 10 could go to number 1 probably quite easily if I had the right ride in it. Mm-hmm. If I was drunk enough as well. Tends to help. But yeah, a lot of excuses. So anyway, that's my top 10. Over and out. See you later. Good night.
And that's an hour, folks. That means it's the end of the podcast. We'll see you next. No. All right, you go next.
Ride to Happiness is generally a top 10 coaster in the world right now. It can't. Yeah,
agreed.
I can see that, but on paper, yeah, it is.
On paper.
But you can't put. You could, like, I don't know. Harry is a big fan of objectively. Like, you know, you could say certain coasters are better than others, but it's how it makes you feel inside, man, dude. How does it make you feel, dude?
Thanks for the hippie update.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so we're gonna go on to Emma.
Me. Right.
Yeah.
List. Okay. Before we start, just let it be known, I've not been to America. I've not been to many European parks. So it's
enough with the disclaimers. Get to it.
Basic list for a basic bitch. Okay. Mikhail, shut the fuck up. Okay. So, number 10 is Psych Underground. Perfect example of a basic coaster.
Shit.
Wait until it's your turn.
I'm not even ridden it. I don't know.
No, Cycle Underground is a basic coaster done really fucking well, in my opinion. It's just a loop and another loop and a launch. Launch is fast as fuck. The loop is really intense. And the fact that it's inside and in the dark with certain glowy bits, wicked. Little pre-show, dead good. It's got a jazzy tune. What's not to love? It was my surprise of that trip that we did to Belgium, to be honest.
It was. I think.
Shit's all over Conda, put it that way.
It doesn't. You've got just little twiggy bird legs that can't
Conda
take
was boring. Conda was boring. Okay, it didn't give me anything.
You I think Psych Underground has.
Well, it clearly did. It give you bruises.
Yeah.
Clearly,
that's a sign of a good time. I don't know what you're on about. Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
But I think Psych Underground has.
Look at her. You know she wants to be like. Yeah. I mean, you're not right.
Psych Underground. Let's get back on topic. Psych Underground.
Kyle.
To be honest, it's normally Emma who's coming out with this shit, not us. Don't make us feel guilty. No, but
I've not been on a pod in like months. I need to make a good return.
Just say Mac and be done with it, McCall. Just say it. Say it. So
don't worry, I've got it coming up. Don't you worry.
Can't wait.
So,
your top 10 isn't Matt Coasters. I'm gonna be fucking livid.
Sorry, go on.
Let's get back to it, guys.
I'm trying. You interrupted me.
Psych Underground has the element of surprise, and it is good. That was a big standout coaster of the trip. I didn't expect anything from it.
No.
And then it delivered. So there we go. Yeah. So next,
number 9. We're in the UK. We're going with Oblivion. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best first drop in the UK and potentially Europe. Tumbleweed.
No, I could actually.
The way I look at Oblivion is I have rode it hundreds, potentially thousands of times, and that drop still takes my breath away. And sometimes I still get butterflies going up the lift hill, and there's not many coasters that do that. That drop hits every time. It's never shit.
I think when
it's
I think about
sick, it's a fucking great drop, to be fair.
When I think about when I think about other coasters, I do. Oh my god, what is the name of dive coaster? Whenever I do another dive coaster, I always like my yardstick is Oblivion. And it doesn't matter what it does after that first drop. I'm just like still not as good as Oblivion's first drop, and I still haven't done it. Like I still haven't done a coaster where I've been like it just takes your breath away as much as that.
It's never bad.
It's never bad. It isn't.
What?
It's just a shame. So obviously, like it was the first. It's the first of its kind. So yes, it is just a one drop special. But what it does is so flipping good.
What do you think, Sean? What do you think of Griffin's first drop?
Close. To be honest, it's the closest I've done. The closest I've got to, especially on the front row. On the back, when we did the first ride we had in it was like towards the back, and I didn't think much of the first drop. But when we did it on the front, it really hit.
Really, I prefer it in the back row personally.
I liked the drop on the front row personally. But no, I agree with that. Okay, next one, go.
Number 8, still in the UK, is Stealth, because you cannot beat Stealth launch. It is the shit. In my opinion,
Stealth is so good, man.
You can beat it. King Dakar, you can definitely beat it.
No.
I mean,
okay, not in the UK.
Stealth again.
Accelerator is stealth,
but effective.
But
I think Icon's launch is better than Stealth's launch.
Of course you do, you dick.
It doesn't go. Yeah, Stealth doesn't go Icon. So
if it did, oh wow, what a coaster that would be.
And
number 7 is Goliath at Wallaby Holland.
Solid.
Good coaster. Okay, maybe at the beginning of the day.
You filthy Europeans.
Don't get me wrong. First time I rode it at the beginning of the day, I was upset because it didn't give me what I wanted. At the end of the day, it was the tits. It was so good, especially at the back. It's well good. The airtime going over that first hill, insanely good, and just just the layout and the terrain, like around the water and stuff.
Yeah.
It's well good. And the bunny hills at the end, lethal. Well good.
I really want to go back and do Goliath. I want to go back to Wallaby Holland anyway, but genuinely I want to go back to experience Goliath again, because when we did Goliath, we hadn't done Shambhala, and I remember doing Goliath and going, "Oh my god, this is the closest we're going to get to Shambhala for a while," even though like not even this not even the same like manufacturer or anything, but like we'd never done that style of coaster before, so I'd love to go back now, because I remember really liking Goliath. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I didn't particularly rate Wallaby Holland. The park itself wasn't the biggest fan, but that coaster was a standout for me.
I liked it.
Number 6 is Hyperion.
Oh my god,
because it's just well good. And don't give me that it's rough, it rattles. Icon rattles more than Hyperion. Okay?
No, it doesn't. It fucking
it
doesn't.
does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. The back of Icon is disgusting these days. So don't tell me that it's rough. Because you're lying.
Everyone who likes Hyperion is a flipping sheep, and just they're gonna like Hyperion because it's Hyperion. It's not.
You're talking to someone though who has never done. I've never done a B&M Hyper, so
yeah, but it's not just you. It's like everyone go bang on about how good.
That sounds like a skill issue to me.
No, everyone goes.
Hyperion is good.
Everyone thinks Hyperion's great, and I think it's mid at best.
The first hill after the first drop is so good on the back. The airtime you get on there is good.
I just don't think Intamin.
I love Hyperion, but it's a clear second best in Energylandia.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah,
very clear.
I mean, I'd say everyone agrees with that, but they don't. The people, you know what a red flag is? Is people who prefer Hyperion over Zarja. Clear red flag. Stay away from them people.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
You know what it makes sense? She's a 10, but she prefers Hyperion to Zarja.
No. It makes zero sense, but it makes sense in my head.
Number 5, staying in Poland, different park, Let Coaster. One of the best coasters I have ever ridden.
Okay, all right. You've got Let Coaster over Hyperion is egregious. I love Let. I love Let Coaster, but Hyperion it's just on another level in terms of just how powerful it is. And
mate, Let Coaster is one of, if not the most intense coaster I've ever ridden. I grayed out, borderline blacked out on every single ride on Let Coaster. For me, it just gave me more than most coasters. You know, it's not particularly fast, but just the way it's profiled is insane, really. And it's just good. Okay, I really like it. And considering it's in a bit of a shitter of a park, which is wild to me, it makes me want to go back to that park. So
you're basically paying the gate price to just do Let Coaster, isn't it? Really,
it costs me £13.
Well, to be fair, when the gate, I was about to say, when the gate price is like £9,
£13 to get in Legendia, £13 to ride Let Coaster 10 times was a bargain.
Yeah, we didn't do Let Coaster because we just chose to do an extra half day at Energylandia because we loved it that much. But whenever we go back, it will be getting done. Definitely want to need to go back. That's what making me want to go back so much.
It's only a half day park. I think. Yeah. I think it closes at like 8, and we got there at 2:30, and we had plenty of time to do everything and re-rides and stuff. It's a weird park. It's very strange. Where are we up to? Number 4 is Troy at Toverland.
Yeah.
The best Woody I've ever ridden.
Wow, how the mighty have fallen. Was that not your number 1 for a long while? Was it not? Oh.
Number one Woody. Number one Woody.
Number 1 Woody.
Number 1 Woody. I fucking country out. That coaster just gives. Number 1 Woody.
Number 1 Woody. When the number 1 Woody is.
What are you doing?
I don't know. It just sounds funny in my accent, doesn't it? My number 1 Woody, Troy.
It's that coaster just gives from the beginning to the end. It's fast as fuck. Again, I am torn because I feel like when I go back to ride it again, it potentially may not be as good. I mean, I've said it before. When I rode it, they had just done a 24-hour record-breaking attempt. So Troy had been running for 24 hours solid, and they literally had the smallest bit of downtime afterwards, and then it reopened to the public, and it was red hot as well that day. So it was on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do worry that it potentially might not be as good.
I've heard from a lot of people recently. It's like really rough, and I can't.
Don't get me wrong. It was.
Yeah.
I say it was rough. It was. It was a fun rough. You know, a woody kind of rough when I rode it.
But for me, for me, it's I haven't done it since 2019, but it still sits behind Thunderhead as like my second favorite.
Well, yeah, it was your favorite for a while, right?
It was my favorite, and like that's why I was like so disappointed with Woden, because I was expecting it to be to like Troy's level, and for me it wasn't. I might have just got.
Yeah, I am well interested to ride Woden.
I don't know if I'd hyped it up in my head too much, because when I did Woden, we did it multiple times, and I was just like,
Jack and Vic have just been to Europa Park, and they've said that Woden shits all over Troy, which I refuse to believe.
I just don't see how. I could imagine it being like a little bit better, because I wouldn't say Troy shits all over Woden. I'd just say I just think Woden's got a better layout. It just has. It's sprawling. It's like everywhere. But I don't know. But also Woden has had loads of retrack done over the last close season. So that might have added something to it. I don't know. Anyway, number 3.
Number 3 is Tarrant.
Yeah.
Tarrant is one of those rides that I haven't rode since, when was COVID? 2019. Was that COVID?
Yeah.
The beginning of that year, just
2020.
2019. Anyway, a few years ago. I haven't rode it since then, and it's one of those coasters that I feel that if I went and rode it, specifically a night ride, it would probably shift back up again in my list, because I remember it being insane, considering I rode it first thing in the morning and it was good, but I didn't get the hype.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I rode it at night, and it's those night rides that kind of put it up there on my list. It was my number 1 coaster for ages. Like you said before, I don't need to go into it again. It just fucking gives, man, at night. It's so good.
Yeah.
Number 2 and number 1, they have been this way for a year or so, but recently in my head I feel like they might be the wrong way around. So at number 2 at the moment I have Rides Happiness, for obvious reasons. It's just so good. The first time I rode it, I was halfway around that coaster layout, and in my head I was like, this is the best coaster I've ever fucking ridden. Like it blew my mind, because it just does things that no other coaster does, and it moves you in ways that no other coaster moves you. It was just a surreal experience.
I think I said this before. So bad. I really want to get, but me and Joe are desperately trying to get over there like soon, just to go there.
And it's going to go well.
If we can go there and just do Ride to Happiness all day, that's all I want to do. Like I'd be tempted to go and do Anubis maybe, but also there's some great rides in that park. Don't get me wrong, but I just want to go there and just like give Ride to Happiness like another chance, in terms of like I loved it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like I think the way I explained it was like when I did Conda the next day, I was like, the thing is for me is everyone likes a certain thing from a ride. One of my big things is first drops, and and don't get me wrong, I've obviously got a few, like I've got a few coasters in my top 10 that haven't got like big first drops, but it was like it's because you can't choose which way you're facing. And I just don't think I had that one ride, you know, like I feel like you'll have that one ride where you're facing like,
don't get me wrong, there is a specific, like as you come over that top hat, there is a specific way you come down that drop for me, which makes it better. It's not bad coming it down forwards or back.
No.
Going down, being at the back of the train and going over that top hat and being pulled down sideways.
Is
what fucking make me go, holy shit. Like these POVs that I've got over my face, and when it pulls you over the top sideways, my face shits an absolute brick. Like I proved it going over the top of that. So and even though you get rides on Rides of Happiness that you might not spin as much, or you might be facing one way for a majority of the ride, it's not a bad ride. Even if you rode that ride and it only faced forward, it would still be an incredible ride, in my opinion. The layout is just really good.
It's because of like just the nature of the elements it has, taking them in, not necessarily spinning through them, but taking them in a specifically like unconventional direction just makes them feel even more ridiculous than they already are. Like going through the double inverted dive loop thing. Yeah, going through that sideways and just feeling like you're just front flipping through it.
That's what got me.
Is so disorientating.
Line, like you say, and I forward rolled up it and then backward rolls down it. And I remember sitting there going, "What is this?" Because I have never.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so weird. Even if you don't get that, like this is why I'm like in my head. I'm like, actually, it's probably my number one coaster, which I'll explain with my number one. But
okay.
Sure, I would go back and I would give it a real second chance because
we go because like I say, there's nothing like I loved it. Like I've got like my first experience of it on my vlog and stuff. Like it blew our minds, but it's really hard for us because in the last year alone, like how many coasters have we done? Like to the point where I'm like having to remember like, what coasters I've done. So I want to go back and just go like, okay. We only got 3 goes on it, and I know that's still a decent amount, but considering how close it is, we need to go over there and give it more of a chance.
Yeah, the first time I went, I think I had 10 goes on it that day.
Yeah,
and
mate, I got somewhere between 15 and 20 in one day, and
that's what I want. That's what most people get, and we didn't get that. We didn't get that. Our plan was to get. Our plan was to get there at like 3 o'clock. Well, like 3 or I can't remember, like 3 o'clock, and then just lap it for the rest of the day. And if we had done that, we would have gone. We would have probably got up to about 10 rides on it, probably, because that's what our plan. And then it just closed and it never opened, and it was sad.
I think since it's had like the work done on it, though, it's not as temperamental now, is it? It can open in higher winds and stuff.
Yeah, it's more reliable now.
I think it's just got to be above a certain temperature now. That's the only problem it has. But
so number one
is Zadra and Nigilandia, because I despised Untamed, which was my first ever.
We're supposed to be roasting these. I can't.
I know.
You can't be mad at Zadra. Untamed was my first ever RMC, and I thought it was a bit shit, to be honest. But taking aside the absolute agony that it caused me, I found it boring. It wasn't what I wanted from my first ride in RMC. Do you know what I mean? So then I did Zadra, which was 1,000 times more comfortable. You know, it's more about speed than the airtime. I got off my first ride on it, and I was like, that was insanely good. It wasn't until I did a front row in the dark that I was like, holy shit, this thing is nuts. I could have sat on it all day. That's how much of a comfortable RMC it is. You can ride it and ride it and ride it, especially when that magic gate's open. You don't have to go all the way around that fucking queue line. Yeah. It's just it's absolutely whoever designed that queue line needs a slap. There was no need.
They literally made it that long for 1 month out of the year. The only time that queue line ever gets used is in a few weeks in August. The rest of the time,
I could not imagine a hell worse than waiting in a queue.
Being in that queue at all.
Imagine being in that queue.
Oh my god! There is
not
a roller coaster on planet Earth that I would go through that for.
Even like they didn't even make a queue that big for Hagrid's. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Who needed?
Apart from the fact it's 5 miles long, to make it worse, just to fucking poke you in the eye. Why put steps in it as well? Up, down. 500 miles. No need for it. Absolutely no need. I think the longest I've ever waited for that coaster was 20 minutes, and that was on a very fucking busy day in August.
I mean,
you don't need the queue.
Next time we go to Energylandia, I'm gonna do a GoFundMe for like just walk in the queue. Be like that's my charity event.
You have to get your walking boots on. Like, oh God, there's no need for it.
Just get someone to sponsor you for a half marathon and just do it in the Zadra queue.
Yeah, just go in the Zadra queue. Just getting in rides halfway though. Don't mention that.
Honestly, like, but yeah, this is where I'm kind of torn when I think to myself, actually, probably Ride to Happiness might be my number one, because from the get-go, Ride to Happiness blew my mind halfway around the first ride, whereas Zadra was very, very good, but it didn't blow my mind. So I think I'm just being like, I'm using them night rides and going, oh, it was fucking amazing, but it wasn't to begin with. So I'm thinking, actually, it's probably the other way around, and I need.
Well, that goes to the argument, doesn't it? Of just like, do you value one that's consistently like giving you that oh my god feeling, or the other one that takes time to warm up during the day, but the peak is much higher.
But I find that,
right.
I mean, I know so much more in European parks. You can get a night ride. They don't tend to close them as early as we do. So, you're more likely to get a night ride at the park. But no, I would go for it has to be consistently good, because if you don't get that night ride, like with Taron, it's great during the day. It's incredible at night. Like, I've never been during the day, so I've never not had night rides on Taron. I think I might be like that little bit disappointed if I just went for the day, because I'd be like, I know how much fucking better it is at night, and I can't do that.
I don't know. I just think it's such a slippery slope to start saying like it has to be consistently good, because like it's a slippery slope because like don't get me wrong, Fly is amazing in the daytime, brilliant, but at night it's just something else. And even with Velocicoaster, the reason Velocicoaster is even at number 13 for me is because of the night rides I had. That elevated it to a next level, like for me. And it's hard to like not. I mean, some people can just detach emotion away from their like rankings and stuff. I'm not a type of person. I'm like my rankings is based on like the people I was with, the time of day, like how good of a mood I was probably in and stuff. Like I can't like detach that.
That's another thing why Ride to Happiness is superior, because the look on your friends' faces,
you can see him going around,
and you're like, that makes it so much better.
Especially if it's like
go on. Yeah, I think I just rank my coasters on the best rides I get on them.
Yeah,
whether that's because I mean I haven't had any night rides on Ride to Happiness. Like mine were all in the day.
No, I haven't.
And like the best rides I had on it like gave me all of those feelings and experiences that you described. But then you take the best night rides that I've had on Zadra and Velocicoaster and like that's what I'm basing it on. And I guess how like because I mean I don't go to parks that regularly where I'm like I'll get like such a wide variety of experiences on like I kind of think that like how consistently can this ride get to the best version of itself whenever I get to experience them.
Right, moving on to McCall.
I've just made up my own mind. I've changed it. Ride to Happiness.
Okay, so Ride to Happiness is now number so basically you're a liar. That's what we've all found out about him there. You're a liar. Liar and a cheat. Or you just phony. Phony. Okay, let's go. Number 10.
Right. Apollo's Chariot by 9:05 p.m. in September.
So McCall's number 10 is Apollo's Chariot. So
I see what you're saying now. Yeah, okay. So number 10 is X2. Like I can't remember what I said about it last time, but just one of the most bonkers rides I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like one of the most bonkers rides I've ever ridden. Like the drop is I don't know if the drop is my favorite drop, but it's absolutely the craziest first drop I've ever experienced on anything.
Chicken Coast, glorified chicken coaster, basically.
Glorified chicken? What? What are you talking about?
You know what the chicken coaster is?
No.
You never seen a chicken coaster? You've seen the chicken
Well,
coaster.
Maybe I have. I can't think of it. But
the one at Schwaben Park.
Yeah, Schwaben Park.
I'm riding that in June. I can't fucking wait.
I don't know what that is.
You never seen the chicken coaster?
I can't think of it.
It's got the soundtrack that goes.
I've probably seen it before, but I can't think of it.
But yeah, go on. Please,
anyway, yeah. Yeah, this might trigger you, Sean. Number 9 is Taron.
No, mate. No. Come on. I'm happy with that. Like, what's your coaster count?
363.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of like top tier coasters. You've done a lot of top tier coasters. So for you to still have Taron in your top 10, I think speaks volumes. To be honest.
Yeah. mate. I mean, you both know how good night rides are. Winter Trom night rides are on it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I just want to quickly say,
unforgettable.
Just gonna say about Chicken Coaster is because Bart's just said like it's really fun. It was so annoying because we were at a wedding in that village. I could. It would take me 5 minutes to drive to that place, and we had to miss out because the next day it wasn't open.
Terrible enthusiast!
Would you get to your park afterwards?
Your priorities.
You should have left the wedding for an hour. Road
we genuinely was planning to do that, but it rained, so it's not going to be open now. But anyway, Taron, carry on. Next one.
All right,
love it.
All right, here you go, Emma. Here's the representation of mock rides.
No, you did not say that properly. You didn't say that properly.
No, you just say it without thinking about it. It's different when you think about it. Just say
what do you mean when I think about it? It's just
because
like
you accentuated it. You're like,
my number 8.
Mock. It's not as good.
My number 8 is Ride to Happiness from Mock Rides.
That's better. Right. Thank you.
Was that better? Okay,
yeah.
Just be casual, child.
Yeah, Mark put the whole foot in this one. It's the best Mark coaster that I've ever ridden, and probably will stay that way until perhaps next year. We'll see how a potential visit back home goes. Yeah, that's number 8. Number 7 is Outlaw Run. I'm actually really sad that this is not in my top 5 anymore. It seems like it's weird because like Outlaw Run seems like the RMC that not that many people speak about when talking about the best RMCs, but the ones that do mention it always talk about like it's in their top 5s, it's in their top 3s, it's their favorite RMC. Like the people who love it, really fucking love it, and for good reason, because it's amazing. Like it's incredible.
I could see that, because like I didn't think much. I've said this before. Like I didn't think much about Twisted Timbers going into it, but after doing it, and I've not done as many RMCs as you have, but like doing that, like that's like in my top 20 now. Twisted Timbers, like it's so flipping good, and it's nearly. I was so considering, like when I did it, I was like that might be top 10 material, but it's not talked about that much because it's not like. I don't know. It's just not. It's not hyped up as much as the rest. So
yeah, it kind of is the same. Like it's the ones who speak about it like talk about it as one of the best, if not the best, smaller RMC.
Yeah.
Like, so it kind of is the same. I love Twisted Timbers was my first RMC.
Was it?
Okay. It was my very first RMC. Yeah. So that's number 7. Number 6. And I dread the day that this inevitably drops out of my top 10, but my number 6 is Lightning Rod, just because like I have since had rides on other coasters that I just couldn't not place above Lightning Rod, like the rides that it gave me. But still going off of those 2019 rides that I got on Lightning Rod, I'm like I can't drop it yet until the next time I ride it.
And it's going to be so different the next time you ride it as well. Like, whoa.
It's going to be even more different. But
even more different than it is already.
I will say we quickly like talk about this, but my experience of Lightning Rod was I was expecting to be like disappointed by it, and I really liked it. I could see how it would have been better with like the fastest, like where it didn't break at the top of the lift. And also just like the retracking work, I think, has taken a little bit out of the punchiness of it. But based on pure speed alone, and the fact that you are literally in the mountains, like there's just no other coaster that takes you like into the mountains like that does. It's just mad. Exactly. It's crazy. It is like an experience more than anything else for me, like a big experience rather than just a standalone coaster. It's a kind of it's defined by its surroundings in a way, and that's what I didn't really expect to feel coming out of that coaster. Was that because when you're at Dollywood anyway, I mean, how it's such a weird drive to get to Pigeon Forge. It's genuinely in the middle of nowhere. Like you have to go like well out, keep climbing up these mountains.
What is it with
keep
Hershey
going.
and putting their parks in the middle of fucking nowhere, man?
I love it though. It's so cool.
I love it,
yeah.
but fucking hell, like it takes
Well,
like
it
you
feels.
got to solve the Millennium Puzzle to get to the place.
Do you know what? It feels like how I feel like American views Alton Towers. You're like going out to the countryside and going through a village, and you're like, "What the hell? Where the hell am I going?" But then when you go to Dollywood, it's the same sort of thing. It's like I remember we was like driving up there at like 11 o'clock at night, and we were driving on this like road all the way up in the middle of the forest, and was 20 minutes, a half an hour. Didn't see a single car, and we was like, if we broke down here, what the hell?
That's what you see.
We was like, what the hell would we do? It felt like a genuine horror film, and then we got there, and it's like, and then you get there, and it's like all like kind of built up and everything, but it's kind of a magical journey just to get there, and then
literally driving to Silver Dollar City is the exact same.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's funny that you got to drive through literally the mountains to get to both of those.
To go to a theme park, and like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
I love this though.
It's awesome, but it doesn't bode well for like return trips. I've been trying to get back to Silver Dollar City for the longest time, and I'm just like,
so number five.
So okay. So number 5 is the first new entry to this top 10 for
drum roll, please.
Well, I mean, not including X2 because I'd already ridden it, but like it's back up in the top 10. But the first new coaster that I hadn't ridden previously. Here goes Iron Gwazi at number 5.
Disappointed,
and mate. I mean, we'll get into this. I know you are, and you have no right to be because for reasons that I'll get into earlier, later.
Just because bad operations don't make the coaster bad.
I mean, I'm fucking hell. Don't get me started. Like, oh my god. I think I've said this to you guys in the group chat. It might just have the worst the worst crew I've ever seen on a major coaster.
Really?
And like it was worse than I could have imagined. And I mean, I'm not going to get into that now, but mate, how the fuck? What? Like the way they let that thing down. Anyway, yeah, no, it is awesome. Like it's an incredible coaster, and I did have one ride on it that that gave me the same feelings as like the best rides I've had on Zadra. But and I mean, as I'll get into that later on. But yeah, it is incredible. Say that
your top 10 so far has just been my bucket list coasters, and if your number 1 isn't what I want it to be, you're in trouble. Okay. Because literally these are just bucket list coasters for me, so I can't roast you because I am just jealous.
I can't think.
Why didn't you say that about my top 10?
Because I don't like.
I've done all the same coasters except for X2 at this point. An Outlaw.
Because I don't want to compliment you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Don't be jealous.
All right. Number 4 is the second. No, it's not. I had already written this, but yeah, it's the redemption arc was complete after this one. Number 4 is the Voyage.
Oh no, I thought that was going to be your number 1. Mikhail, you've let me down.
Oh yeah.
That's got.
I was trying to think which one does she want?
That is my number 1 bucket list coaster.
That's your number 1 bucket list coaster. I mean for good reason, because that is until I ride Outlaw Run at night. Voyage is the best night ride I've ever had on a coaster.
Okay,
straight up, it's the best. The thing is, like the night rides I got on it, the moon was shining, so like we did get light, natural light, like beaming down on the trees and stuff. But still, though, it was still so dark back there. And like if like people remember, like the issues that I had with Voyage before the rides I got earlier this year was that it just was not running great. Like it needed a lot of work, and that was evidenced by it being closed earlier in like closed earlier in the year than it usually does, and it got a lot of retracking that following off season. And these rides I got on it this year, like, to say they made up for the rides I got previously is an understatement.
Yeah.
The thing fucking flies. Oh my god, I've never like, people talk about Steel Vengeance's pacing and how it carries on that pacing, like for how long it is.
Yeah.
Voyage does that much better in my experience, much better than Steel Vengeance.
That was after the Gravity Group retrack as well, weren't it?
Yeah.
Did it. Yeah. Do you think that's added anything to it from your experience, or is it hard to tell? Because it was.
I mean, it's made like the sections where the pre-cut track has been applied are much smoother. Like the drop, the first couple of hills feel like B&M Hyper hills.
Yeah,
like that's how smooth they ride. That's how, you know, well executed the airtime is on them and everything. Like those few hills. And I think I remember saying this as well, like those few hills feel like B&M Hyper hills. And then once it gets into the spaghetti bowl section at the top of the layout, it turns into an RMC. Like the type of like the nature of the ride at that point, the twisted hills, the pace it carries through both the spaghetti bowls, both at the top of the layout and at the bottom of the layout, it's unreal. Like it's unreal. The airtime is all over the place. It's giving you really aggressive like airtime moments. It's just awesome, and it just does not let up for how long it is. It doesn't let up at all. And yeah, Kiara's he's talking about SpongeBob on my hoodie. Yeah.
Saying that's Nash. That's Nash. All right,
that was me on X2.
Sorry to move it on, but I need to go.
Soon. Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
I know that we were going to talk a little bit about the next few. So, all right, number 3.
Number 3 is Fury 325.
Yeah. Oh, does that one sting? Does that one sting a little bit?
Can we just pass this on? Can we pass?
Does it? Have I touched the nerve? Have I touched the nerve there? Have I touched the nerve there, Sean?
How does that make you feel, Sean?
Shambhala's better anyway, so it's fine.
Of course it is.
That's egregious. Shambhala came close, mate.
Livid.
I mean, I saw it. Did you? I've seen it with my own 2 eyes.
Oh, you've seen it? Wow. I've seen a photo of it. Same thing.
I sat in the test seat.
Oh, did you get to ride it though? No. So anything that you say is null and void.
I saw it.
You should have got someone to just have a massive fan blown in your face so you could feel how fast it's supposed to feel.
So yeah, Fury 325. What makes it your number 3?
Oh, I mean, all right. I'll try and sum it up as quick as I can. It has given me some of the most joyous coaster experiences I've ever had to this day. It has my favorite
bothered
on any ride. We should have asked them.
If you look closely as you talk, there's just a little tear. You can't talk about it for long. Noxie's got to go just because you'll upset him. So
it's that meme with the smiley face like on his face, and behind it is like he's like crying his eyes out.
It's like Wildcats.
Yeah,
that could have been in your top 10 as well.
Right? Yeah.
I don't even care about that.
Ooh, that must have hurt that one. You're overrated, Sean. No, it just like it deviates so much from just like a standard B&M Hyper. It's like it just has such a sense of speed. It gets down to the it gets down low to the ground after the first couple of elements, and then it's got whippiness, it's got sense of speed. The airtime is much more potent than like your standard B&M Hyper. RCT Limits is hilarious. That's a cracking ride. Yeah, it hit so much more with such a much more satisfying experience than most of the B&M Hypers I've done. But yeah, that's Fury 325. Number 2 is Zadra.
Oh, snap.
you both know how
now.
good Zadra is. I don't need to
Yeah.
speak on it that much. It's unbelievable. In terms of the coasters that are just coasters and there's not much else to it, it's probably my favorite. But when it comes to themed experiences on thrill coasters, I can't. And I mean, this is even confirmed how I feel about my number one, even more so, having ridden Iron Gwazi and still feeling the way I do about my number one. It's gonna take me a while. I don't know what I'll beat at this point. Yeah, my number one is Jurassic World Velocicoaster.
Oh, shocking.
Purely because it does the best job of giving me a themed thrill coaster experience that I have wanted, like more so than anything else. Yes, there are faster coasters, there are more intense thrill coasters, there are more aggressive thrill coasters. It by nature, it doesn't quite hit you with the the kind of rapid fire airtime moments or transitions that something like Taron or Tiger does, but you still get that. It's Christian.
Velocicoaster by Jurassic World.
So that with Ride to Happiness, they have to go Ride to Happiness by Tomorrowland.
You do.
Well, yes.
Yeah, it gives me just rides that give me the sense of speed, the aggression that I'm looking for, but with such thematic integrity and presentation and everything else that goes into it. It is what I've looked for in just thrill coasters in general, world-class theming and presentation and storytelling, and then world-class coaster attributes. If anyone's I've not seen that, I've not experienced that to such a comprehensive level in any other coaster I've ridden. If anyone's seen if anyone's seen on YouTube, someone made a No Limits coaster themed to Star Wars called Rebels Run. It's basically Taron but themed to Star Wars. It would be Luke's favorite coaster off straight from the get-go if it existed in real life. But that's the kind of thematic inclusion that I look for, and it's a part of the reason why Taron is still in my top 10. Taron has some deficiencies layout wise that Velocicoaster takes care of, in my opinion, but that is why I love Taron so much, to be able to match high thrills with high theming.
My experience, I've talked about this before, but my experience is I liked the coaster. I was expecting more out of the theming experience. Don't get me wrong, it's themed to a really good standard, but when you think there's a flipping Hogwarts castle in the same park that you walk through Hogwarts, I was expecting that in a way, and for me, I was the queue line's the most themed part of the experience, and it's you walk through, for me, obviously the animatronic Velociraptors are really cool to watch, even though 9 times out of 10 you just walk straight through that. It's the only room that you walk straight through for some reason. I don't get that.
Not anymore. You don't.
Do you know? Oh well, maybe not now.
But when we anymore with Express Pass.
When we was doing it, it was in the cattle pen outside with the springy guy who just got on my fucking tits.
Springy guy.
I can't remember his name. Springy guy.
Mr.
So
DNA.
it's Christian.
Yeah, Mr. DNA. I was it's cool. I liked that because it's a bit of nostalgia. Don't get me wrong, right? But I was after them lines, hearing that again and again in that cattle pen, I was I'm sick of this. I get to the room I want to see, the Velociraptors. Walk straight through it. Keep going, guys. Keep going. I'm no. What the hell are you on about? This is the bit I want to see. Go through that. And then the scramble for the lockers, and then you go upstairs and it's a big cattle pen with a big screen. Just talk. And don't get me wrong, I like the pre-show. It is fun. It's really clever.
See, that's
really well
that's
done.
the room that I consistently walk through quite quickly.
No, it wasn't for us. Maybe it's the time of year we went, but like I just thought like they could have done more on ride for me personally. And it is like a spicy take, and I don't like to be
trying
that
to be
type.
edgy, Sean.
I'm not. I hate edgy
You are.
people. I hate it when people.
You are an edgy person, though, Sean.
I'm not. I just didn't get on with it. I just expected. I think I felt like the way you, Mikhail, felt about Cosmic Rewind was
It's
like you was
okay to like
expecting
what other people like, Sean.
something.
Fine.
No, I just don't get it.
It's
I
okay.
don't get
Don't
it.
worry. We're not going to do
Shut up. Shut up. Right. Okay. It's no Psych Underground. Right.
It's all right. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no, that was just
Not
my
in- not in
feelings
the
of
same
it.
league, is it?
I thought like, and for me, Fly was. This is like the most polite roasting I think has ever taken place in it. Like,
Yeah, fucking hell.
if we had like American viewers, it'd be like so British, wouldn't it?
What did you just want somebody in the chat to be like, "You're so fucking wrong.
No.
You're an abomination."
Yeah, basically.
Well, I
No,
wanted
it's
to.
just-
Well, I wanted to talk about Gwazi versus Zadra, but we don't have time.
Hold on,
true.
Mikhail, have you read Steel Vengeance? You been to see the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where's Steel Vengeance in your list is? Because I thought that might have been up there.
Steel Vengeance is 14.
Oh, right. So it's not too far underneath. You know, because so many people rant and rave about how good that is, and it's so many people's number ones. Surprised it wasn't in your.
Yeah, and it's great, but it's not top 10 material in my opinion. Like,
So
it goes on too long. It goes on too long.
Said like
Kira's playing
Taryn,
bang on.
like abomination. Like Taryn, but not Velocicoaster. Sounds
Not
like to me. I just I'm
right,
not, I
right.
just don't like. I feel like the people who I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like everyone who loves Velocicoaster really likes Jurassic World. Is that am I wrong there? Like I've got no affiliation to Jurassic. I like Jurassic
I
Park.
mean, I
Do you know
personally
why?
could
Because you
care
clearly
less
had a
about
sad
Jurassic World.
childhood if you don't like Jurassic
Like
Park.
the-
Okay.
no.
There's
No,
I
no,
like
no.
Jurassic
like
Park. Jurassic World is different.
I
It's
could-
not the same thing.
I could
it's
care less
it's a
about
coaster about dinosaurs. Please, it doesn't matter whether it's park or world. It's dinosaurs. Okay.
I could care less about the movies. Like I've seen all of them, and Jurassic World Dominion is one of the is
But
crap.
okay, so
Like,
my
It's
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, no, it is. My argument though is
It's not
like
the last one.
people go, oh, it's the whole experience altogether. I'm like, just be honest. You really like the coaster because I don't think the themed experience is anything to write home about. I think there's way better things in Universal alone. That's a better themed experience than Velocicoaster.
Kira got it right. Can we just highlight Kira's first comment, please? Because that's exactly what this whole top 10's been about, Kira.
What? What?
Above the
I got
abomination.
spited by Fury 325, and I'm going to take it out on Velocicoaster.
Honestly, I thought I'm not
Got your
alone.
number.
I'm not alone.
That sounds exactly like
I
what's
did
going
do
on,
I
to
did
be honest.
Titatis, and I'm not alone in this. Loads, not say loads, but okay, I probably
No
like
one.
four people I spoke to
Like
thought the
one
same thing
person.
as me. Is that Titatis is actually a better coaster than Velocicoaster? It actually is. But don't get me wrong, going over the lake is something else, and that's not something you can't get at another park because you're seeing like Islands of Adventure. But like just the rest of it,
Right.
was just, I don't know. I was just underwhelmed. And bearing in mind, me and Joe did about 15
there's so
rides.
much that I want to say within this conversation. Like, do we
Yeah.
want to wrap this up? Or are we running out of time?
We do.
Because I mean, we can get into this
Right.
properly if you want.
No, right. Mikhail's. What's the Jerry Springer thing he used to do at the end of the show? Like final words. Or
It's
whatever.
final thought.
Final thought. So Mikhail's final thought on Velocicoaster.
My final thoughts on Velocicoaster. I mean, it does the best job of ticking my personal preferential boxes.
Mhm.
In terms of a themed thrill coaster exit.
Can I just say, everyone's now saying like I'm
themed
trying to say you like a
experience.
ride because of theme, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I thought you wanted to be roasted, Sean. You moaned half an hour ago that no one was roasting you. So take it on the back.
Yeah.
I really like bananas. What have you got against apples? What's wrong with Can we
Kira
not,
says she
guys?
doesn't talk about horse racing, but she loves
No, I will say
so-
what I will say about Velocicoaster is that like I I know a few people who don't really like Velocicoaster is in their top 30 or something like that. Like they don't think it's top 10 worthy. And I mean, I get it because there are more intense coasters out there. There are more aggressive coasters out there. Velocicoaster does a great job of like keeping up a high level of intensity and sense of speed, but I mean, I'll be transparent about it. There are more aggressive coasters out there. There are, like, Zadra is one of them, Gwazi is one of them, Intimidator 305 is one of them, Skyrush is one of them, X2 is one of them.
I don't think aggression means equals good coaster though. That's not what I'm saying.
Sure, yeah, and that's what I mean. But like for people's preferences, if they hold that to the highest standard above, thematic execution or like sense of speed, or if they prefer a coaster to give them nothing but just airtime, like ejector airtime over and over again, just straight up airtime, then I can see why they would go for something else.
I think Velocicoaster is different though. I don't think a lot of people base it purely on the coaster. I think it's like we've said, it's a themed experience. So from like, if I'm comparing themed experiences, we've said this plenty of times, but I feel like something like this is me just being Phantasialand fanboy, which we both are. Well, we all three. I'm like Taron for me is great, and Flies for me because it doesn't give too much. It's like it gives you just enough on board with the storyline, and I actually feel like so involved in, like, when I'm in Rookburg, I feel involved in that land, even though I don't really clearly know what it's about. I can read up about it afterwards. But when I'm in Velocicoaster, this is just me just trying to analyze it. I'm just like, dinosaur. Oh, Chris Pratt. That's funny.
When I'm in Velocicoaster land.
When I'm in Velocicoaster land. No, but I'm just like, it almost like takes me out of it a little bit, because I'm just like, oh, okay, that's funny. It's Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt. Great. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think for me,
hear a bad word against Chris Pratt. Thank you.
Mate, he's like,
don't.
He's a weird Christian, man. He's got
some weird Christian.
He's got some weird. He's got some weird. He's got some weird views.
Right, but he's a weird Christian.
He's part of this, like, like Scientology. It's like that, but for Christians, it's like really like hardcore Christianity.
I just think he's been cast for too many movies.
He looks great.
He's been cast for everything, man. Like, not every protagonist needs to be voiced by Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt has probably got the most featured in the most roller coasters and rides.
I bet Chris Pratt's rode 325.
Okay. Right. To end this off, I'm gonna just say why I prefer Zadra to Iron Gwazi, because that is something that I wanted to get off my chest, because you were looking for it.
Wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Because Gwazi is it's unreal. Like the way it, like, the power and just aggression and sense of speed that it keeps up throughout the entire ride is like, it's ridiculous. But literally, all the Iron Gwazi experience is, it just wants to beat the fuck out of you from start to finish, and nothing else. There's nothing else to that ride. It's literally just, I'm punching you in the mouth over and over again until you hit the brakes. That's literally it. you might enjoy it. Zadra gives you that, but with a bit more method to the madness, I think. Like, Gwazi's layout just does not know what the fuck it wants to do. It does everything so randomly, and the individual elements are so strong and so powerful, and they're great, but strung together, like, the layout just makes no sense in my mind.
Yeah, I think
Zadra has.
I think I said when I did Iron Gwazi, we need to wrap this up now. But
yeah,
just going off what you're saying,
twice as long as we wanted.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying in terms of, like, I knew, like, when we did it, me and Joe came off and was like, Emma would fucking hate that thing. But it's like,
thank you for thinking about me and my twig legs. That's really appreciated.
we come off
good
it.
friends.
But we both, I see Gwazi as being like a perfect mix for me of Zardra and Untamed. Like in terms of like, you feel the sense of speed, but then it's still trying to like just trying to like book in Bronco you off the seat sort of thing. Whereas I do appreciate that Zardra you get a much more sense of speed on that. Like it feels like much more graceful. It feels like like you say, it's a ground up, which has something to do with it. Personally, I think, not just.
No. I agree. I agree with that. Like it's the prime example of the advantage of the ground up RMC versus having to follow the footer layout, so the previous coaster and stuff.
But I just like that. I think that's what I've realized is that I do like that just pure aggression of just like, it just makes me laugh. It hurts, but it makes me laugh. So,
and don't get me wrong, I love that. Like I love that. Like if it weren't for its piss poor fucking operations, I would have marathoned it all 3 times that I visited Busch Gardens on my last on the last trip. But like I've started to realize that I need something that I've started to call chronology.
Yeah.
Which when I say that, I just
hold that thought. One sec. Before we go, McCall's going to finish this, but can everyone write down whose top 10 that you preferred? Obviously, it's going to be me. Obviously,
the answer is mine, because if we've all learned anything from past competitions, we vote for Emma to annoy everyone else.
And I think, everyone's just going to vote for Emma. So there we go. Carry on your thought, though.
Just pity votes, mate. Just pity votes.
Can't help being.
Oh, fucking! What was I going to say? So chronology, and I mean, this is something that people have probably thought about a million. This is probably something that people have thought about a million times before, but it just sums up like the concept in my mind.
Yeah,
a ride having a clearly defined beginning, middle, and end. It matters. Like it for me, it plays into the satisfaction of the coaster experience so much.
Okay.
It makes a coaster feel satisfying when it's not as long as some others. Voyage has a great beginning, middle, and end, so it doesn't feel like it drags on for so long. Zadra has a great beginning, middle, and end, a clearly defined beginning, middle, and end, to where the experience is still satisfying to me, despite the fact that it's not even close to as long. It's the reason why I don't really mind coasters being short, or like shorter than others and stuff. Just purely because like it's a well thought out layout with a, the stages of it make sense with each other, and Gwazi just does not have any of that for me. So like it has such a high strength level, and it's so fast, it's so aggressive, it's so intense. But Zadra has reaches that level as well, but the layout is just much more satisfying for me.
And that's was Carl's final thought. Thank you. No, I know. You made a strong case there, and it's what I expect a lot of people to think. To be honest, is that it's just more purposeful with its layout, and like you say, it knows what it's doing. It makes it the little, the spaced out elements make them elements feel like more impactful in a way, rather than just like giving you a load of stuff at once. So. But yeah, it depends what you want. Anyway, I really need a toilet.
If we look at the chat, I'd just like to state that I won. Thank you. Moving on. Bye, everyone.
No, everyone's just too scared of you. That's what's wrong. Everyone's just really like.
Why would you be scared of me? I'm a fucking delight. What are you on about?
Everyone's
Stop trying to make me sound bad to people, Sean, for your own benefit. People aren't stupid in the chat. They know the right from wrong, okay?
On that bombshell,
right from wrong.
Well, come on. On that bombshell, we will leave you for this week. Thank you so much. It's great to have McCall back, even if it's for 1 week. If you can come back next week, it'd be great, McCall. Come on, everyone, bully McCall into coming back next week.
I'll try.
It's
been great. It's been great to be back, though. It's been fun.
Oh yeah, just to be clear,
Clearer, the answer is yes. Thank you.
McCall. Be clear, McCall has not left Chain Dogs. He's just really busy with next gen stuff. He will be back, of course. He will.
And a million and seven other things. But,
yeah,
yeah.
That's one of the things. But yeah, great. Thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.